Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I know I was supposed to make a video on Monday, but you know what? After the amount of emails I received, I decided, okay, that's it. Saturday is the day I am going to get back into it. So thankfully, we are done with February, which is a month that has been challenging for many of us. So today, I want to talk about what is actually happening with the market and what it's shaping out to be. Ready? Let's go. So let's go back to January 1st. January was actually a month that was full of hope. Rates started increasing, rejection levels started increasing as well. Everything seemed to be going in the direction that we needed it to go. But as we already all know, January was also the month that was hit with some gnarly weather, which is actually what caused all of those spikes. Then came February, which brought with it better weather, thank you, but worse rates. Actually, February was extremely painful for the industry as a whole. In February, we saw a lot of bankruptcies, and of course, carriers continued to get out of this industry. So let me tell you, on February 1st, it was reported that Penske Logistics will be slashing more than 200 truck driver and warehousing jobs by the end of this month, March. On February 2nd, it was announced that Newsom Trucking, a trucking company based in Georgia, filed for bankruptcy, which affected 60 drivers and 33 power units. On February 8th, Shearer's Foods announced that it was permanently closing its Lubbock, Texas facility, laying off 176 workers. At the same time, Hollingsworth, a transportation provider, is shutting down by the end of this month, laying off 153 workers. On February 26th, a California freight forwarder, Boateng Logistics, filed for bankruptcy, and it affected an unspecified number of employees. The same day, DHL said it's laying off 161 workers. Then we have Hillside Logistics of Illinois laying off 136 workers. Keva Logistics cutting 80 workers, DXS Logistics also cutting 80 workers, Quad Logistics laying off 74 workers, and Universal Intermodal laying off 42 truck drivers. And finally, on February 28th, Rio Grande Valley Sugar Growers is shutting down after 51 years in business, affecting 435 employees, out of which 101 are truck drivers. Now, even though income-wise for many carriers, February was much worse than January, the net loss of carriers, it doesn't correlate kind of. In January, we lost a total of 2,489 carriers net as compared to February where we lost 1,713 carriers net, so less. But again, we have to remember that carriers and industry professionals are not really quick to react to such rapid market changes. So what now? Is the industry doomed to deteriorate further, despite the fact that there were so many predictions saying that 2024 is going to be the year when things start getting better? Well, not necessarily. According to FreightWaves, looking forward to the months ahead, there is still significant room for growth as Chinese imports hit the West Coast in the coming weeks. The early stages of produce season are forecast to see yearly growth in Texas and Florida, helped in part by El Niño's weather patterns. Activity in the construction sector will be aided by federal funds allocated to manufacturing, transportation infrastructure, and energy infrastructure, while home builders project a better year ahead than the already busy 2023. Now, this article further breaks down that import bookings from China to the US set record highs in the first 2 weeks of February, that is in the run-up to the Lunar New Year. And these bookings were made roughly 42 days before the shipments arrived to the US shores. Late March and early April should be incredible months for truckload markets near the West Coast ports. Now, I don't personally agree with incredible months, but I agree with maybe more manageable months. Now, Chris Williamson, who is the chief business economist at S&P Global Market Intelligence, said that factories are now increasingly rebuilding warehouse stock levels, driving up demand for inputs and pushing production higher at a pace not seen since early 2022. So what's the verdict here? Is it going to get better, or is February the new normal for what we should expect in the next few months? Well, we can't deny that February was absolutely horrific for many of us, and FreightWaves actually estimated that over the course of February, fuel inclusive, so with fuel surcharge, spot rates fell by a national of 21 cents per mile. But we also have to be acutely aware of the contract market because it has everything to do with how the spot market does. After all, the contract market influences how much freight is actually available on the spot market, and contract markets are not doing so hot either. According to a FreightWaves article, management from Werner Enterprises classified bid season for its one-way offering as very competitive. It said it has worked through less than 20% of its total bids and that only a handful of bid events have been finalized. Management said that they will look to tender rejections and changes in spot rates as signs of an inflection. It expects some improvement in the spot market during the second quarter. So yeah, basically it's a huge question mark right now. Now, the pessimistic side of me is telling me that I have to be prepared for the market to be in the dumps for a while, and that it's better to be prepared for the worst case scenario than base your decisions based on a better case scenario. But on the logical side, I am reminded that February has always been one of those disaster months that was always worse than January, regardless of how good the overall market was doing. At this point, I think I'm going to approach it from a wait and see standpoint. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that we all continue to fight for our place under the sun and take challenges one day at a time. Wishing all of you continued patience and prosperity. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. See you in the next video.